It's a Married with Channels podcast. My name is Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We are the married couple, and we talk about movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
This is a fact.
True.
And we're looking at 2 TV shows this week.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Outlaws in a little bit, but we also have a little bit of the We Own This City, which is a show on HBO Max, and it's a narrative retelling of a true story in Baltimore in about 2015 or so.
Okay, I was going to ask you if this was based on a true story, if
It is.
these things really happened. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they take some dramatic license with it.
Sure.
But this is all true. Wayne Jenkins is a real guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what happened to these guys. We'll find out, I guess, at the end of the season.
Sure.
Or you could just Google it, but I want to wait to
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Don't cheat. Don't Google it. Yeah.
Yeah. So We Own the City is, just in a nutshell, Baltimore cops are crooked AF, stealing and,
Racist.
Some are racist. Yeah. All the bad stuff you hear about with police officers times 10, I would say.
Yeah. They're planting evidence, framing people just so they can keep their arrest numbers up and going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, John Bernthal's in there. You got, I see, it's Josh Charles.
Yes.
And there's some other names in there that I'm drawing a blank on, but We Own the City is a good show. Like, it's an interesting show.
Yes.
And it's also produced by David Simon, who created The Wire. I think he's got his hands involved. It's almost like if it's a truish story, gritty story involving Baltimore, chances are David Simon's involved with it, because The Wire was set in Baltimore. I don't know if you knew that, but
No, I hear good things about that. And that is one show like I always intend to watch, but I just haven't gotten there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
it's like one of these days we'll get there.
Yeah. But I really like this one.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's anything like this work, it's really
Yeah.
good. So.
This is good because it's got, what's interesting is like you can do a show about corrupt cops, but this one's really cool because it gets you involved, it gets you inside the other levels of the city and government, and almost like, not like, well, you see why they're corrupt, but you see how they can get away with it.
Absolutely.
And how they're not being prosecuted. Like they kept, one of the examples is it's like they get written up, but they've only been, I forget the term, we'll say delisted once.
Yeah.
They're like, how many times have you written up? 48. How many delists? 1. Oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, and that just doesn't jibe with common sense, but
Yeah.
the bureaucracy of the system, the union, hell, even the police chief who comes in who wants to clean it up, essentially his hands are tied.
I feel like this is like a nightmare. Like you have people with authority and power, and they are just abusing it at every level. It's not just, those guys kind of on the streets, on the beat, it's at every level. They're falsifying reports, and people, when they get written up or have disciplinary action against them, it's just kind of like swept under the rug or not really enforced.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. To me, it's kind of scary. It's a nightmare.
It is. I mean, it's kind of a nightmare scenario because you've got people in power abusing it and getting away with it and almost kind of, enabled by the system that they work in.
But another cool aspect of this show, and I think I was trying to get there, just didn't quite, but you see the investigation side of this as well. And I find that stuff fascinating. Like the people trying to follow the trail and figure out who the bad guys are and who's corrupt and who's not, and that kind of investigation piece.
And the FBI is all up on their business.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, this show doesn't really get you too much into the characters. Like we don't see a lot of their family life.
Right.
We don't see, their love for the guys in softball. You get little tastes of that here and there, a little barbecue, but
yeah.
And I think that works here because the character is kind of, and this is going to sound kind of hoity-toity. The character of the show, I think, is the system and the police force.
Wow, that's pretty deep stuff there.
Yeah.
That's a big draw. But what I was going to say is, despite that, those scenes with the barbecue and things like that, where they show kind of the camaraderie and how they all kind of stick together and whatever. It's still showing bits of Wayne Jenkins' personality and what kind of guy he is. There's little bits of that. But I think that even though you don't get into the characters, they're very believable. Like, I get lost in his portrayal of Wayne Jenkins. Like, you believe him to be this really just a, really cocky, self-assured, is untouchable kind of corrupt cop. So, yeah.
No, and it's, John Bernthal he's good. I tend to think he's a little overacting going on here.
A little bit.
Like, just a little bit of like too much herky-jerky mannerisms. And, that's kind of, you could argue just you're overthinking it a little bit, but
I don't know. I feel like I know the type. I've seen men walking around like that. Like, I know the type. I know what he's trying to portray there.
Yeah. No, and I haven't, so I will default to you on that. But and also what he's getting right and what Josh Charles is getting right, and a couple others, is the accent. Like, you can hear that Baltimore accent. It's almost like the show with Kate Winslet. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know, they don't know it's coming to them. There's like a type of diphthong. Is that the right term?
I don't know.
But I definitely hear it, and kudos to them, because they're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, it's subtle. I don't pick up on that.
And that's good.
Yeah.
And then, like, if it's too much, like, sometimes people do a Boston accent and they go way too Boston,
Sure.
like a real Boston accent doesn't have that powerful of a, some do, but just, it's not hokey.
Sure.
But we own the city. I mean, these guys are corrupt. I mean, Wayne Jenkins is kind of the main focus of the story. And he's such a dick that he's like stealing from strippers, like this scene where they hustle out of the strip club. He just jacks some dwarf stripper.
Yes.
Wayne, man, we wasn't even in that hour. Man, look, that little fucking mini-me motherfucker was on top of me for like 5 seconds. I couldn't fit inside of her. So I knew that shit wasn't gonna happen, so I just dumped the run on the ground and she put it on you, didn't she? Nah, man. She put it on you, didn't she? I'll tell you what she put on that ass on her. I'll tell you what happened, motherfucker. Hey, I grabbed her fucking money and I bailed the fuck out. That's what happened. Check this shit out. Yeah, you fucking heard me. Hey, look. It's like twice as much as I fucking gave her. Key home, motherfucker. You robbed a midget stripper? Come on, don't put it like that, man.
That's not cool. It just like got really weird and awkward in that car.
I know. He's like, don't put it like that. It's like,
I know. Like, but that's exactly what you just did.
That's literally what you did. But, and I was thinking of that scene, like, I kind of want to know what happened to the stripper. Like, she didn't come out running after him.
Right.
No bouncers came running out after him. Is it one of those, like they know him and he's like, give me your money. And they just like, oh, shit, here. Damn it, Wayne Jenkins took my money.
I mean,
they just kind of kick a can and go, well, let's go back to stripping.
I don't know. He's just like, I don't know if he thinks he's just going to get away with anything. Anything goes. I don't know.
I think he thinks he's Superman.
Invincible.
Yeah, he can do what he wants. But we own the city. Sunday nights on HBO. It's a good show.
Yeah.
I think everybody should check it out. Won't you please? Moving on to a little lighthearted fare, more lighthearted, but sometimes not. The Outlaws on Amazon. I've been seeing this sitting there for about a month. Stephen Merchant created it, co-wrote it with Elgin James, who's he's a writer-creator on Mayans Motorcycle Club on FX.
Okay.
I know, right? Stephen Merchant, for those who don't know, was the co-creator, writer of the English Office, the first Office. So, and you've seen him in tons of stuff. He's a tall, gangly dude.
Funny.
But this is a show about these different people from different walks of life, having to do community service in a town in England called Bristol. And we slowly learn stuff about them and their interactions. They kind of become kind of friends, sometimes partners.
Yep.
And it's not a comedy. It definitely has some comedy in it, but it definitely has some drama in it. It's got a little action.
Yeah.
And it's very well written.
I agree. I love this show. I think there is enough comedy to break up some of the other stuff that, it's hard to put it in just one category, but there's quite a bit of comedy in it. There is. And it's got plenty of stuff in it that the pacing is good. There's no lacking of, we need a comedic beat here. It just works all so well, I think. And, there's some tension. Like when the Christian was he had to go rob the cell phone from the drug dealer house. Yeah. That was pretty tense. Yep. But then there's some lighthearted stuff. I mean, Stephen Merchant's great. Yeah. He's always got this great kind of wry, kind of, oh, gee shucks type of vibe about him. Yeah. But Christopher Walken's in it. Great. Love it. Yeah. Can't go wrong. Yeah. With Walken. I love to hear him say the funny stuff, like the cuss words and stuff, too. I don't know why, but it's great. And stuff like Stephen Merchant's very tall. He's like 6'9", I think. And in the show, Christopher Walken's character, Frank, calls him High Pockets. And I'm like, that's so funny. Because he's tall and his pockets are way up high. Yeah. Yep. Hey, High Pockets. That's great. Yeah. I love it. But Walken's great. Boy, he's looking kind of old, but he's still delivering. Oh, yeah. I like that there's some tender, sweet moments in this, too. There's you kind of start to like all of these characters and kind of root for them. And yeah, there's some nice, sweet stuff. They all kind of have their demons and their issues, and they're all kind of working on them and bettering themselves, I think, And as we record this, we're one episode away from finishing the season, which is only 6 episodes. But I don't think we know exactly why all of them are there. We know why Ronnie's there. Ronnie? Yeah. She was shoplifting. Yep. But other than that, do we know why everybody's in the community? Frank is there because it's part of his, I guess, release from prison as he served 18 months. But yeah, the rest of them, like... didn't Greg get busted with a prostitute? I don't know that. Or was that a second offense? That was a second offense. Okay. That was episode 3 or so. Sure. So they showed a few people with more than one offense. Right. Like Gabby. She got arrested a few times then. Gabby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she just keeps getting arrested. Yeah. But we don't know exactly. We can assume why Gabby's in there. Sure. It seems like maybe Greg, Stephen Merchant, is in there for soliciting, maybe. Yeah. But I don't think we know exactly why everybody's in. Like John, we don't know. Why is he in there? Yeah, I don't know. The brake pad small business owner. Yeah, I thought there was some flashback that told us, but maybe not. I'm forgetting it now. And same with Myrna. I think it has something to do with her collective group and some sort of violence where a police officer was killed because she keeps looking at that clipping. Oh, yeah. Of the police officer that died. Right. And she kind of has had a argument with the collective that, we don't operate like that. And her stance is, we need to do something radical, Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if it has something to do with that, but you get little glimpses into people and why they're there. Right. And I like that they kind of establish these tropes of these characters. You got the right-wing guy, you got the left-wing granola bar, protester types, and they're not by any means, you start to eventually, to some extent, feel for them and empathize with them a little bit. Like even John, the right-wing, a-hole, you feel kind of bad for him. He wants to provide for his family and he wants to be able to pay his employees and, Also, and Frank is starting out kind of like gee shucks, I'm a good guy. I was in prison. And maybe he's kind of an asshole. Yeah. He's about to ditch them and go move to Rio de Janeiro. Sorry, what? I think a lot of these characters are going through transformations. So like you mentioned John, I think he's softening a little bit. And I think his exposure to being around other people of all walks of life
Yeah.
is maybe changing his hard-headed opinions, and
Right.
yeah, Frank, only knows how to abandon people, and maybe he's going to stick around for these guys, I don't know.
Maybe.
I think there's some personal transformation themes going on there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, maybe so.
yeah. But it's cute. I like it.
Yeah, The Outlaws. It's a good show, and it's engaging, and I think it's one of those shows. It's a rare show where it's palatable, like it's easily consumed, but it's not like boring or vanilla or CBS Network from 1992, type of, But go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime or Prime Video, and two good shows this week, I think.
Yeah, good stuff.
We Own the City and The Outlaws. They're both winners according to the Married with Channels podcast. Where you should definitely be subscribing to our show because that helps us out. And give us a good review. And make sure you tweet it out and put it on the social medias.
Share, tell your friends.
Share and tell your friends and even your enemies, because maybe they'll turn into your friends after they listen. They're like, hey, this is pretty good. You're not a big jerk after all. These guys are all right. Until next time, my name is Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We'll see you later.
Bye.